Good afternoon and welcome to Deakin Stadium, the first of 4 weeks of football action. It's going to be fast and furious, it's going to be action-packed, and Bar TV Sports will be with you all the way through. My name's Russ Gibbs, I'm your commentator through the next month's worth of finals football. Joining me for this one this afternoon, the first of a double header here at Deakin Stadium, is Frank Casher. Good afternoon, Frank, and it's going to be a long month, isn't it?
No, it'll be a pleasure, Russ. G'day, viewers, and thanks, Russ, for the welcome. Really looking forward to it.
It's Belconnen United versus Gungahlin United, first cap off the rank. Then later on this afternoon, Canberra, Croatia versus Tigers FC in the top four championship. Tomorrow our attention switches to the bottom four final series. Canberra Olympic versus Woden Western and Tuggeranong United versus Monero Panthers. Frank will be with me for Olympic Woden. Lachlan Roberts will be with me for Tuggeranong Monero, if we can still talk by then, Frank. We're hoping that my voice will be quite hoarse because I want two fantastic games of football today.
Well, look, there's absolutely no excuse for, the conditions are perfect, the ground is perfect. No, there's a little bit going on social media today, and one of the things that I said on a comment that I made is, every player in this competition wants to be playing at this time of the year, and let's be honest, pretty much every player in the competition wants to be playing in this top four playoff.
Yeah, it's been a week of eligibility issues that have been surrounding the competition at both ends of the spectrum, top four, bottom four, under-23s as well. We've seen a couple of under-23 games this morning here, the top four series. Belconnen beat Monero Panthers 2-1 with a late goal, and Canberra Olympic defeated Canberra Croatia 1-0. Two exciting matches here, but our attention focuses on the teams that finished second and third in the ladder. Gungahlin United second, Belconnen United third. We'll bring you the teams in just a moment, but Frank, Gungahlin United ended the season on a bit of a downer, drew the last two games and lost to Tuggeranong, so they haven't won for the last three. We'll talk about a bit more of that during the competition. Felt last week that they didn't really hit their straps in a game that, if they'd won, would have put huge pressure on Canberra Croatia here. Yeah,
I don't know what that is, Russ. I mean, maybe it was just. I mean, we got told very early on that there was going to be no trophy for the team that finishes on top of the table. They were safe in the top four. Probably didn't need to extend themselves. They got away. Or not, they got away. They finished 0-0. They did probably seem a little bit flat, except for a couple of flashes of brilliance. I mean, Gillespie hit an absolute pearler that hit the crossbar near the end of the game. But apart from that, I think they've been just below par a little bit for themselves. Even the game that they won before those three games, it was a 90th minute goal from Jack Green against Tigers. So, I don't know. I guess Marcel's got the key to these guys, and on paper, they're as formidable as anyone in this competition.
Yeah, goals have been a little bit of a problem for them over the last few weeks. You mentioned that apart from the 3-3 draw against Olympic, there was a loss to Tuggeranong, there was that late goal against Tigers, and a blank against Monero Panthers, which in a game they would have been expected to win. Looking at that, let's start with the Gungahlin team. Bit of a change from Marcel Munoz in his lineup from that side that drew with the Panthers. He's made 4 changes to the team that drew a blank at the Riverside, a couple of them up front, as we'll talk about in a moment. Josh Laguda in goal, a back three of Buddy Abbas and Jack Green either side of Lachlan Griffiths, midfield four of Anthony Timotheu, Tom McLaughlin, Josh Gillespie and Jeremy Habtemarian, and the front three, Michael John, Felipe Bonamo Madrid and Mishko Namoski and Bonamo Madrid brought in for Barbatano and Sam Habtemarian, both on the bench, possibly to add a bit more firepower.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if now that we're into that sort of finals post-season playoff, whether Marcel keeps a more stable lineup. He's been making changes to accommodate just the depth of his squad, just to make sure that people are getting a run before the final series. But now it's we're getting serious and at the pointy end of the season, so whether or not he actually sticks to a lineup now.
Yeah, no Michael Adams today. The bench, Gabriel Asinga, the goalkeeper, Zach Barbatano, Sam Habtemarian, Liam Walsh and Tom Milicevic. So plenty of talent on the bench as well. Belconnen United's a fairly stable lineup. They made one change from the side that beat Tigers FC 2-0 at the AS. Adrian McCaw back in midfield for Leon Mickle. Jordan Thurtell continues in goal. The stable back four, as we mentioned, it's been pretty much picks itself. Dak Mabry at right back, Darren Bailey at left back, Isaac Clements punting Phil Bourgeau, who plays his 50th NPL match this afternoon. The midfield four, Adrian McCaw, Dustin Wells, Luca McCaw and Max Melik, who's really impressed this season. Up front, the leading goal scorers in the competition between them, the pair, 8 goals between Kofi Danning and Luca Flores.
Yeah, and they couldn't have been any more impressive last week against Tigers. Pretty much dominant from start to finish, and we kept on waiting for Tigers to do something. Tigers had a lot to play for as well. Obviously things have fallen their way to get through, and there was a lot of things that needed to go other teams' way for them to miss out. But at the same time, they were obviously challenged by a team that was trying to make the top four, and they met every challenge and they met it well.
Michael Tarazi amongst the substitutes, John O'Leary and Jacob Gardner as well, and Liam Mickle, who started 6 games this season, may feel a little bit unlucky not to be in the starting lineup today.
Yeah, but obviously he's got a number of years ahead of him, and you could say the same thing about Zach Barbatano, I guess, in the Gungahlin side. I think he's been a real pivotal player for them over the last few weeks and even last year. So that's part of it. You're playing at that level, the highest level we've got here in Canberra. So sometimes the disappointment does come with missing out, but hopefully they'll both bounce back and make a stronger challenge for a starting spot next time.
Beautiful sunny day here in Canberra. Blue skies, there's a smattering of cloud about, a little bit of wind, as there always seems to be here at Deakin Stadium.
It's because we're like 30 metres above ground level.
That is true. There's not too much at ground level. It is a tiny bit you'll be able to see from the corner flags when they come into your shop, blowing possibly across the field. Match officials, Adam Powers, the man in the middle, Alex McConaughey and Blake Baldwin, his assistants.
And let's hope that's probably the last reference we make to them outside of telling everybody how good a game they had at the end of the game.
The Blue Devils ready to go first off. As we mentioned, their run-in has been quite impressive. After drawing with Tuggeranong, they beat Monero 4-0. Narrowly lost here to Canberra Croatia on their last visit to this venue and beat the Tigers, and that game against Canberra Croatia was one they feel they probably should have won. Yeah,
I caught the coverage of that one rather than commentate on it, and all for the last sort of 10, well, not even 10 minutes, last 5-6 minutes, they were in the box seat to challenge for that top spot.
Gungahlin United, as we said, haven't won for their last 3 matches. It's their worst run in the competition since 2018. When they went from rounds 11 to 18, they didn't win for 8 matches then. They drew 3 and lost 5 a couple of years ago. Slightly different Gungahlin United side to that team, though.
It is, very much is. Having said that, Russ, I fancy Gungahlin to get over the top of Belconnen today, just simply because I think they're almost due to click and hit form, and no discrediting Belconnen. They've deserved their spot 100%, and they've been outstanding this season. I just feel that Gungahlin, now is the time for them to stand up, and they've got so many good players that they need to actually do it.
Wasn't an awful lot between them in the match earlier this season. It wasn't until the final 6 minutes when Gungahlin ran away with it. Jeremy Hampton with a penalty, Michael John in stoppage time, sealing a 3-1 win at the AIS in a game that saw a couple of send-offs. Yeah,
and I suppose that's one thing that we probably could sort of refer to. I mean, we talk about some rivalries within the competition. This Belconnen Gungahlin rivalry is one that's starting to heat up over the last couple of years. Last season with the Pratazina broken leg incident, and then the replaying of the last 40-something minutes or whatever it was. There could be some fiery moments in this if it becomes a real challenge.
Going to mention that the last game in round 14, they were played on the Tuesday the 14th of August. It was a game that started at the 17th minute mark with Gunners 2-0 up through goals from Michael John and Anthony Timotheo, which was scored at McKellar Park before the leg break incident. And that game, when they did play the final 63 minutes or 73 minutes, finished 3-3, but Gunners won 5-3.
Yeah, and it was pretty heated too. When you see someone like Dustin Wells, who's got a wealth of experience, sort of getting to the point where he got sent off at the end of that game, it sort of says a lot about how these two teams view each other.
Well, these sides out there, they're no stranger to yellow cards. Of the Belconnen players on the field, 7 yellow cards between them this season, and a red for the left-back Darren Bailey. Gungahlin United.
I should actually say a shout out to Ian Bailey.
He'd be up, ridiculous o'clock in the UK. 7 yellow cards for Gungahlin United as well, so.
And I noticed, Ian, just for your own benefit, Russ's chauffeur-driven limousine was out the front of Deakin Oval.
I could see my car from here. I got a good car park. Where did you end up?
I walked on the way to getting you coffee again, Russ.
And so you should as well. Thoroughly deserved after saying "we" so many times.
I don't even ask anymore. I
just keep bringing them, Frank.
Commentary's cost me a fortune this year. I might have to coach again next season.
Well, we did say that there's a big money deal in the offering for
apparently,
Frank Cage.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Canberra A-League team looking for a coach.
Yeah, righto.
Gungahlin United in the black and white, attacking the goal to our right in the first half. If you see the distinct lack of spectators around today, it's because there's a limit of amount of people allowed in the ground of 200, including the players as well. So that's why there's not many here. It's a bit unfortunate, Frank, but it means that I do understand that we're playing live to the Deakin Club on the big screen in there as well. So
I was going to be a bit cheeky then, Russ, and say that the spectators weren't eligible unless they'd watched 3 games throughout the season.
Be careful, Frank. Got a long time to go. So if you're watching in the Deakin Club, thanks for tuning in. And I'm sure there'll be more interesting a little bit later in Canberra Croatia versus Tigers FC. Here's Buddy Abbas at the back. McLaughlin, formerly of Belconnen United. Won a grand final with Belconnen United as well.
Won a Valeri medal here for Belconnen United when they beat an Andy Burnell-led Canberra Deakin with a last-minute goal from, I think, Jack Green to equalise and send them into penalties.
McCall putting the pressure. It's Bernardo Madrid trying to get away from Bailey.
And that'll be a good duel. That'll be a personal duel, I think, this one. Bernardo Madrid.
Mistake by Timothy. A real opportunity for McCaw, and it's saved by Laguda. Real chance inside the opening minute for the Blue Devils. And Luca McCaw must have thought he was going to score, and a great save from Laguda.
Absolutely, great save, but they'll be ruining that miss, I think, Belconnen. Timothy's got caught in possession there, left his pass a little bit short, and this all comes from a bit of a high press here from Belconnen on the Gungahlin players. I'm going to say Olympic sort of had a bit of a blueprint for that last season, and it seems to have worked. I think Tuggeranong adopted it this year as well, and maybe something that Belconnen are taking into this game. Glorious
chance early on for Belconnen to take the lead. They have to settle for a corner. Plenty of shirts forward, though. Swung in towards where Danning was looking for the spectacular on the volley. McCaw tried his luck. Might fall for Bailey on that trusty left foot. Good switch of play out towards the far side when Jack Green tidies up.
Great start from Belconnen.
Just about to say exactly the same thing.
No, we've been commentating too much together, Russ.
Far too long. Here's McLaughlin. Namoski, most experienced player NPL-wise in this Gungahlin lineup. McLaughlin back there as well. Good pressure early on from Belconnen, not letting Gungahlin settle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Bailey and Bernardo Madrid will be a good duel, I think, one-on-one. I think both will relish the opportunity to go at each other.
Despite not winning for the last 3 games, finishing second on the ladder this year is Gungahlin's best ever finish on the Premier League table. They'll be disappointed that they couldn't push on for top spots.
Well, I think if they didn't lose their 6 points last year, they would have finished second last year, I believe, Russ.
Certainly would have. Galevsky went closest as anyone to scoring at the Riverside last week. His shot crashing the crossbar. Green going forward. Challenged by Bourgeot, as I mentioned, 50 NPL games for him today. Joins Darren Bailey, who got there last year, on Jordan Thurtell. Last week, I should say. Jordan Thurtell got there as well last week.
And Thurtell, ex-Gungahlin from last season as well.
Challenge in midfield, Wells beats Green. Has it back again. Adrian McCaw. Abbas with the foot in. First involvement for Jeremy Habtemariam. Can't slide his pass past Bailey. And a chance for Adrian McCaw to bring it forward. For Paul McCaw's Blue Devils. To slide it through in behind Griffiths, who had to stretch a leg. Gillespie and Michael John might be in here. Real chance, and Thurtell came out to meet him. And did Michael John just hesitate?
Late flag as well, though, Ross.
Just hidden behind Ben, the cameraman. The failure to score last week for the Gungahlin, though, was Minero's first time in 24 matches that they've drawn a blank. Round 2 against Olympic last year. And a 2-0 win for the side you coached at the time. And that was 24 games ago.
Yeah, okay.
Fair to say that they know where the goal is?
Well, the way they play, they're constantly looking to go, test the defence.
Danning looks for McCaw, who fires a shot in, and Laguda called into action again. Good start this for Belconnen. My apology, it was Melik that hit the shot. So Luca McCaw and Max Melik both having chances in the first 5 minutes.
And Ross, I don't know if you've noticed here, but even when they are playing it just seems to be a distinct lack of movement from the midfield. Gillespie and Haptemariam are sort of sitting a bit high, not looking for it, unless it's Timotheo coming looking for it. They probably just need a little bit more from I know McLaughlin will come looking for it, but probably just need a little bit more from either Jeremy or Josh there, just to start creating a few things and giving their backline an option.
Did mention that Gungahlin like a goal. Belconnen United do as well. They've only been kept scoreless twice in their last 16 matches, both by Tuggeranong United. Bernardo Madrid in behind here. Great first touch. Felipe Bernardo Madrid. Gungahlin lead.
And there you go.
Superbly taken by Felipe Bernardo Madrid. 2 chances for the Blue Devils, not taken. 1 for Gungahlin, and they're in front.
Yep, great finish. Good little ball there. Timothy has come and collected it off the back 4. I don't know if the back 4 was just trying to push up a little bit and one played them all on side. I think that's the inquisition that's going on at the moment, the Belconnen back 4. But when you give Felipe that sort of opportunity in the box, then generally you're kicking off a few minutes later.
Bernardo Madrid just loves this venue. Scored here earlier in the season, his only other goal in the Premier League this year at this venue against Canberra, Croatia. And Felipe Bernardo Madrid on the score sheet again. 57 NPL goals for him. Lethal when presented with an opportunity. Disappointing though for the Blue Devils after they've had a couple of good openings.
Yeah, and how often does it happen, Ross?
They're on the front foot again. Real chance here. 2 numbers in the middle. If he pulls it back, it's Danning. He's miskicked it. Flores has put it over the bar. From inside the 6-yard box, another chance goes begging for Belconnen.
They'll rue that chance, I'm sure, Ross. I mean, they've missed a couple of good chances, but that was on a plate.
For a player who's been in fine form this season, 5 goals in 7 matches for Luca Flores, you'd have bet your mortgage on that one.
Well, this is, yeah, I mean, we referenced it last week a little bit with Luca at the beginning of the game. He just seems to snatch a little bit, and again, it comes into the game more and more. It comes into, but gee, that's a big miss.
Couldn't ask for much more from a neutral point of view, can you? In the first 7 minutes, 3 glorious chances for Belconnen, failed to take any of them, and Gungahlin leads. Timotheo looks for Habtemariam. Timotheo again looks to cut across the ball and he sweeps it across the field. McLaughlin looks for the run of Michael John, brings it in nicely. Bernardo Madrid. McLaughlin switch of play, that's a bit short though, and Melik can pop in with the challenge. There's a little shove there from Danning for the free kick. You wonder how many more clear-cut openings they're going to get as such that you couldn't have asked for a couple of better ones.
Oh, absolutely, Ross. And without being disrespectful to the 2 young guys that they've fallen to, because they've both been outstanding this season, had those opportunities have fallen to Kofi Danning or maybe a Dustin Wells, we could be looking at a 2-1 at the moment.
Danning missed his kick entirely, didn't he, in front of the 6-yard box? Sliced off his foot straight. Couldn't have asked for a better placement of the ball for Flores. But as you mentioned, we saw last week, it doesn't faze him if he misses a chance. He missed a good opportunity against the Tigers last week before giving
and Melik's creating a fair few headaches here for Gungahlin as well, down that right-hand side of Belconnen's attack.
Well, Flores has scored in 5 of the 7 games played this season, and between them, Flores and Danning have scored 8 of the 12 goals that Belconnen have scored. So they're the main men, as far as is concerned, in the front third. Habtemariam caught late by Bailey. Talking about finishing on the table there, Frank. Belconnen haven't finished higher than 3rd in the Premier League since 2014 when they were 2nd. They've been 4th time in 7 seasons they've finished 3rd on the ladder.
Probably says a few things about Belconnen. They're ultra consistent, Ross. I mean, they're missing out in the finals last year would have been the first time, or one of the few times in the last 15 odd years that they would have missed out in the finals. And they're always thereabouts. And they were a real powerhouse, going back early 2000s. They were always well and truly in that top 2.
Is Namoski. They've done enough in the opening 10 minutes to suggest that they can create openings. There's another ball over the top towards Bernardo Madrid. He's in again here, Bernardo Madrid, and this time the ball sat up too much and Thurtell makes the comfortable save.
It looks like a real tactic now from Gungahlin. Timothy has found Bernardo Madrid behind Bailey a couple of times now.
Well, Bailey likes to stroll forward, doesn't he? He likes to get involved in the attack, and maybe they've spotted a gap in behind him and Bernardo Madrid, the man to take advantage.
To be honest, I think Parla would tell Darren to actually get forward and actually test out Felipe's willingness to actually get back and track back. the 2 times he's been caught out is when Gungahlin been playing out from the back. So I think it's just a bit of a lack of communication in the back four.
Malik, Wells, Bourgeot, now Mabry, Isaac Clements. Here is Darren Bailey. Wins a throw off Bernardo Madrid. If you just tuned in, you missed the first goal. And you've also missed 3 great chances for Belconnen. Danning brings it down, but penalised for handball. I think Paul and Danny McCall will be sat on that bench wondering how they're 1-0 behind here. Green. Abbas. Griffiths, who's returned to the side after suspension, was warmly welcomed. McLaughlin, good pressure on him again. Green plays it forwards. Gillespie's touch. Timotheo. Gungahlin looking like they found their groove early. Abbas finds Bernardo Madrid. Chance for him to run at the defence. Michael John. He's stuck under his feet, but he's got away here. Michael John fires it across goal, and it wasn't far away from Mishka Namoski, adding the vital final touch.
We've got a message there from Ian Bailey that he's having a coffee, and coffee's poured.
I wonder what time it is. What do you reckon it is in the UK? About 2 a.m. or something?
Stupid o'clock.
Yeah. Something like that. Jordan Thurtell with the goal kick. Couldn't keep it in. Max Melik. He's had a good season, the youngster. This is his 8th appearance of the season. Started in 4 of the 8 games that Belconnen have played this year. Found himself on the score sheet last time he was here, giving his side a 2-1 advantage over Canberra, Croatia. Timotheo pulls that down. Gillespie found a little bit of space, but his layoff only finds Wells. Good ball forward as well, and a chance for Flores to go at the defence. Held up just for a moment by Griffiths. Gets it across, and do I detect a little bit of panic in that Gungahlin back 3?
Interesting there, Russ. I don't know if Paul will be 100% happy with the way they pressed. They actually pressed the goalkeeper, and 3 of them went to the goalkeeper, which meant the back 3 was actually in space. So they're probably a bit lucky to get away with that. But on the flip side of that is when Dustin won the ball in the midfield, they had 3 players to choose from that were already in attacking positions in right on the shoulder of the fullback. So interesting to see how this plays out.
Melik finds Danning. Wells. To pull the strings in the centre of the park. Here's Clements. Bailey. Danning the runner, but Griffiths has tracked him all the way. It's coming out the sun. Bailey nods it down. McCaw's touch, but only finds Habtemariam. And Bailey should intercept that. McCaw. Bailey again looks for Adrian McCaw on the return. Can't find him. Nice touch, Habtemariam. Good open field to the match.
Yeah, you can see Belconnen really trying to hit those little pockets of space outside the back 3. With the back 3, there's always going to be space just on the down the wings, and you can see especially down that right hand side, whether or not that's because Jack Green gets forward, but that's one area that they've definitely targeted Belconnen.
Timotheo sprays it to his left, but he's been robbed by Melik. Jack Green loose in the touch. Now what can Melik do? It's deep ball looking for Flores, making the arcing run. Abbas is there, but Flores has nicked it off his toe. But Abbas using his strength to battle back. Flores an absolute pest, and a nice ball too to find Adrian McCaw. Chance here for McCaw to pull it back. It's Dustin Wells cut across the ball. Another opening for the Blue Devils.
And that's another really good chance. Luca Flores really almost made up for that missed opportunity there by just running down Buddy Abbas, winning the ball, return pass to Adrian Makor, who picked out Dustin Wells. Probably expect Dustin just to hit target from there and see what happens, but he's cut across that, and this is always drifting wide of that far post, Russ.
Hasn't scored a goal yet this season, Dustin Wells. Arguably, Belconnen United should have 2, possibly even 3, and yet they find themselves 1-0 down. Was it Jimmy Greaves that said football's a funny old game? It's a strange one sometimes, isn't it?
It can kill you. Let's be honest.
All your best laid plans, all your coaching during the week, and your side's missed 4 openings, which on another day might well have taken at least 2 of them.
And it could just be like it is, a final series. So maybe in the course of there's that pocket again.
Wells in behind, ball in behind for Mellick. Danning, found a yard, but he's facing the wrong way. Luca McCaw lining one up. The deflection off of Griffiths took all the sting out of the shot. Here's Gillespie. Ball for Namoski. Not just today, though, Frank, and looking further ahead in the final series, the amount of chances and the space that Belconnen are getting, everybody else that's watching this, Tigers and Canberra Crusher especially, must be thinking, well, there's opportunities against this team.
Absolutely. At the same time, I think Marcel will watch this back and probably see what he can fix up as well.
McLaughlin, Hampton Merriam. Wells clips it forward. Flores is the willing runner, as he has been for most of the season, and he's got a couple of yards on Abbas here. Only Danning in the middle. Adrian McCaw back in support, and Abbas stood strong. Hampton Merriam's turn to look for Josh Gillespie, but he can't bring that in his stride. He settled in quite well, Josh Gillespie, into this team. 4 goals this season, as you'd expect of a player of that quality.
Yeah, you do. At the same time, he scored his 4 goals in 2 games. I think Josh should probably be, if he was being critical of himself, and he's probably going to be his own harshest critic. He'd probably want to see just a bit more consistency in his goal scoring this season. But based on last year, where he was just picking up almost a goal a game at Monero. But I mean, obviously, he's a quality addition to this side, and he brings a lot to the table. So look, he's got 3 games that he could actually win this competition for them. He's that good.
Went through a spell last year where he scored 7 goals in succession for Monero Panthers. Nobody else could get a look in. It was the Josh Gillespie goal scoring show. Smart acquisition by Marcel Munoz, bolster his attacking stocks. As was a goal scorer, Bernardo Madrid. There's a problem here for Laguda. Dawdled on it a little bit, and Flores closed him down. Maybe got a little bit lucky.
He probably did, but again, Russ, this is what I was talking about probably 5-10 minutes ago around the lack of movement in front of him. He didn't really have many willing players looking for that next pass.
Green lifts it forward. Bourgeot challenged by Gillespie, winning the ball. Luca McCaw's flick up. And he's got it back himself here. Good run, this McCaw. 3-on-3 at the moment for the Blue Devils. Driving at the heart of them here, Luca McCaw. Had options left and right. Tried to go down the middle on his own. Positive run, though.
Positive run. And he's actually got a lot more pace than probably people give him credit for. He really accelerated into that space there. And look, I don't blame him for trying to get between the 2 defenders, because even if they mistime their tackle, he's in the box and he's... we could be lining up for a penalty here, but good start from Luca. He's had a good season.
The Bass looks for the ball over the top. Clements comes across. Clearance only falls as far as McLaughlin. Namoski. Michael John. McLaughlin once more. Hampton Merriam. Timotheu. Looking for options. Bernardo Madrid's pulled wide. Slows it down and brings Abbas into play. Happy to keep possession, as we know, Frank. They're happy to start from the back and probe for openings.
Yeah, you can hear the frustration through some of the players. I don't know if you're picking that up on audio, but you can tell that some of the players are getting frustrated with the lack of movement. That's generally a real trait of the way that Gungahlin play.
Well, they slowed it down, but sometimes they slow it down a little too much. Bernardo Madrid. $20 gone, live on Bar TV Sports, the first of a double-header today. Gungahlin United lead Belconnen United thanks to Felipe Bernardo Madrid's early strike. McLaughlin looks to put him in behind again here, and Isaac Clements was stretching. Habtemariam's touch. It's a sign of this Gungahlin side. They're all comfortable on the ball. They all want a piece of it. Timotheo wide to Galevsky. Green. Galevsky again. Slides it through, and the touch from John almost put Jack Green in on goal. Just a little too heavy.
Yeah, and again, there's, the Jack Green getting forward into those sort of positions from a centre-back role. He was well covered there by Timotheo, but it's something that you can exploit if you win the ball back quickly.
Gillespie from McLaughlin looks to put in John. Again, Clements needs to be alert and on his toes.
It's starting to get a bit more dominant now, Gungahlin too, Dross.
Picking up all the loose balls, aren't they, at the moment? As I say, that one ricochets kindly to Adrian McCaw. Finds Luca McCaw. Didn't look when he played that to Bailey, and Galevsky was there. You mentioned as early as the first minute when Luca McCaw's chance was beautifully saved by Lagudo, that they might rue that. To be fair, shouldn't have been given a chance, the goalkeeper from that range, you wouldn't think, to make the stop.
I never played much forward, Ross. So I'll take your word for it.
Strong hand, wasn't it, from that range to get it up over the bar as well.
Save. Absolutely, it's a good save.
Flores' chance moments after that was probably a little easier. Danning's got a toe in here, and they're 3-on-1 again. Real chance once more if they do this correctly. Danning across goal, and the deflection off of Abbas. He did enough, and there was blue shirts queuing up at the far post.
I guess for Kofi there, the disappointing thing was both the Belconnen players running into the box made the same run. So if Abbas cut out one, he cut out two. Just needed someone to pull back and stretch that defence and sort of go towards the penalty spot instead of sitting behind Abbas.
But yet again, this back three of Gungahlin United living on a knife edge.
But it's that pocket of space, Russ. Like I said, there's a back three, which means that there is space on either wing, and I think they're really exploiting that. And like we've said, it's a few times now that they've exploited it down the right-hand side of the Belconnen attack.
From Gungahlин's point of view, you do wonder how many more chances they can cough up to this opposition before they find their lead wiped out. Free kick. First 20 minutes has gone fairly quickly, isn't it? Halfway through the half.
I was just thinking to myself, I don't think we've seen many free kicks in this game either.
It's had a good flow to it.
Just told everybody it's a big rivalry and they hate each other. And how good am I going?
Well, it's got a sedate pace with the sun out. Dustin Wells over this one. He had one of the chances. Clips this into the danger area. Bourgeot up on the far post. Can't beat Jack Green in the air. Kofi Danning happy to let it go out for a throw, which Max Mellick has been tasked with.
It's a real shame we can't get some of the junior teams down here watching these final series with the COVID restrictions.
It's a shout for handball. It's broken for Corey's weaving his way through here. Couldn't quite get away, Flores. It was, yep. Flores trying to squeeze past a gap that wasn't there. Here's Michael John. Galevsky. Bernardo Madrid. McLaughlin. There's Timotheo. Galevsky. They do look dangerous every time they go forward, Belconnen.
Well, I think you can almost say the same thing about Gungahlin, Ross. They
Does Timotheo look for that run?
Of course. Thanks, Donnie. Yeah, both teams are obviously very capable of creating a number of chances, and good chances, and they've got the firepower up there to make the most of it. I just think, obviously Paul will be disappointed that the chances they've created haven't converted to scoreboard pressure, because they could easily be up, 2 or 3-1 at the moment.
Bailey sweeps it forwards, looking for Mellick. Picked off by Green. Timotheo finds Habtemariam. A bit of room for him to work. Can't squeeze it past Adrian McCaw. Gets a second bite at the cherry. And Bourgeot stops him really quickly in his track. And then there's a little bit of afters between Bourgeot and Habtemariam here. A push and shove.
I told you they didn't like each other.
There it is. Right in front of the referee as well.
And just a bit of a sing out, Ross, if I can, just to the Paragali family who have messaged in as well. Glad to have you guys on board. I hope the young bloke did all right for Woden this morning.
Well, there was that feistiness you were talking about at the start. Abbas too strong for Adrian McCaw. He snaps into the challenge of McLaughlin.
Are we starting to see the first signs of some real intent now?
It came out of nowhere, didn't it? There was just seemed to be Phil Bourgeot just shoved into Habtemariam. I don't know whether Jeremy Habtemariam left something in the tackle.
I'm not sure. More likely Jeremy said something, but
Green wins the ball off of Danning. Habtemariam in defensive duty. Played really deep last week against Monero Panthers. Whether by intent or design.
You see it sometimes. Some of the real ball players in the competition will go looking for it.
Come back to that point in a moment as Jack Green lopes forward. Can't squeeze it past the Belconnen defence, and they can bring it away here with Dustin Wells. Danning ahead. Plenty of room for Kofi Danning to stride into here, and looks to find Adrian McCaw, whose first touch was just a little heavy. Plenty of numbers in attack again, though, for Belconnen. They may have left themselves a little stretched here as Gillespie goes towards John over the top, but Thurtell read that intention. Again, though, loads of space in the flanks on both sides.
I don't really understand it with Belconnen because they're playing a back four, but
Timotheo finds Gillespie. Abbas, who's had to be strong defensively, is the last man on a couple of occasions so far today. Finds McLaughlin. Griffiths. Green. It's a bit short as well. Wells has it. But he can't find the run of Melik, and Timotheo just picked it off, and it's Gungahlin's turn to flood numbers forward. Timotheo again. Namoski. Gillespie wide. Timotheo brings Bernardo Madrid into the attack. Skips past Bailey. Still going here. Abbas back to Bernardo Madrid. Couldn't get a power on the shot. It was on his left foot. Opened up momentarily.
Yeah, and it wasn't like super quick play either, Russ. It just seemed to be quite, just methodical. But the one thing you just noticed there was when Dustin gave the ball away trying to pick out a player that was going forward from midfield, is if Belconnen do lose it in midfield and they're committing players forward, Gungahlin are going to be very dangerous on that break.
Luca McCaw's touch finds Dustin Wells. Melik outside him again. Plenty of numbers for the Blue Devils. Melik into the penalty area, still going again. Real chance for Kofi Danning, denied by Laguda. Again it opened up for Belconnen. Again they have the opening, and again they cannot find an equaliser.
And that was great goalkeeping there from Laguda. He's come out and closed that. He's seen the danger early, but Melik has really imposed himself onto this game, Russ. He's given Jack Green a lot to worry about.
I've asked it a couple of times, we'll ask it again. How many more chances can they afford to give away? Here's Gillespie. We know he's got a hammer over left foot. He curls one. It's not too far away from the right as well. Thurtell was worried.
Yep, absolutely. And that's something that obviously Josh has got in his locker as well. But another missed opportunity for Belconnen.
Half an hour to go, half an hour played I should say, live on Bar TV Sports here at Deakin Stadium. First of a double header in finals football, and it's Gungahlin United leading, but Belconnen United have had, well, by my count, 5 really good openings.
And that fell to, arguably the right player as well on that one.
Well, both their main men in terms of goals have had openings this afternoon already. But the way Gungahlin play, they do leave themselves vulnerable. McCaw finds Flores. Timotheo strong in the tackle. Habtemariam. Timotheo. McLaughlin just helps it on its way to Green. From right to left, now back in field, Gillespie. Again, it's opening up for Josh Gillespie for the strike, and an important block from Isaac Clements.
Yeah, and he's getting closer and closer to getting that shot on target, isn't he?
Caught hold of it. Entertaining first finals match. Hamza Merriam. Nice feet. Looking for Bernardo Madrid, but Flores is back in the defensive role.
Yes, just back on your point about Jeremy dropping deeper to collect the balls from the back four and things like that, and playing a bit deeper last week against Monero. You've seen it with some of the other ball players in the competition. Popovic does it for Olympic. Colbertaldo does it for Canberra, Croatia. And what it does, it gives them the opportunity to get some space and get their head up and play forward, because they haven't got their back to goal and they haven't got someone marking them that tightly. If someone does come and close them down, then it creates space for other players. So it's a really good tactic, and there's only a few people that can do it successfully here in this competition. They do need to be the better ball players that can do it.
Wells finds Adrian McCaw. Danning peeled off the defence this time into that pocket of space. Wells. Abbas. Good defensive work from him again. Wells comes sliding in with a challenge. Bit angry, Dustin Wells. 2 yellow cards he's picked up this season. They don't carry over into the final series, but there's cranky pants on there.
He's actually been pretty good this year as far as yellow cards and things go.
Gillespie driving forward again. It's opened up once more for Gillespie. He's found Bernardo Madrid in the area, and the block from Darren Bailey was a very good one. Bernardo Madrid still there. Bailey at the second attempt concedes a corner.
But that's 3 times in a row in about the last 5 minutes that Gillespie's been able to drive forward, receiving the ball probably about 30 or so metres out from goal and driving to the edge of the box. They're going to have to tighten up on that. Whoever's playing that defensive midfield role for Belconnen really needs to be aware of that.
Can't keep giving Josh Gillespie that much space in and around the penalty area, or he will hurt you. Gone short with the corner to Hamza Merriam. Timotheo loads it into the penalty area. Jack Green peels off on the far post. Clements won the ball though, and it's a corner from the other side.
But well defended from Belconnen. They've obviously done their homework. They've seen 2 players go out, sent 2 players in themselves, which meant that instead of playing a short corner that they can get driven into the box at pace, it needed to be a lofted cross from Timotheo.
Hamza Merriam over it this time. Gillespie's gone for a short one again. This time Hamza Merriam peels it back to Nomoski. Bit of space on that left foot. Lifts it towards Jack Green, who peeled away. And that's come off the Gungahlin skipper last for a Belconnen goal kick. Jack Green hasn't scored a header this season. I did ask him beforehand. He reckons he's the decoy now.
For what?
26 NPL goals for Jack Green. Did get the winner against the Tigers.
Having said that, Lockie Griffiths is actually pretty good in the air. I know that he's pretty dangerous when it comes to his presence in the box.
I'm sure he's got one in his locker, Jack Green, before the final series is over.
But even when they played it short, Russ, the next ball was always, once the cross came in, it was always back post to Jack Green, wasn't it?
Seems to attract the ball like a magnet in the penalty area, Jack Green. Good ball, that Laguda. Good touch, Abbas. Hamza Merriam just helps it round the corner to McLaughlin. Timotheo. Green will step over. Nomoski takes over. Gillespie. Just building something here. Gungahlin. Hamza Merriam. Looks to lift it forward for Michael John, and good nudge that, I'd call that, from Darren Bailey. Just to let him know he was there, and Michael John couldn't bring it under control. And Thurtell.
Both fullbacks got forward in that attack too, Russ. Had both Green and Abbas getting beyond the midfield.
Flores beat Griffiths in the air. Rather improbably, you'd think, given the size difference between the two. Hamza Merriam. Gillespie just glides away from the first challenge. It's a bit better from the Blue Devils in terms of getting tighter to Josh Gillespie, though, isn't it? I think that's what Paul McCaw and what you were probably alluding to with that space he was afforded just a moment ago. Yeah,
and a lot of that's going to come down to Luka Makor as well. He obviously likes getting forward, but he's going to probably have to take the lion's share of that defensive role, especially with Dusty getting forward as well. So unless one of the two centre-backs push on to Gillespie, and chances there arm a little bit there.
Melik's touch. McCaw to Flores. Huge amount of space on this near side. Here's Danning, and he tried to find Adrian McCaw.
Gee, they worked that well, Russ.
Just a foot in that stops Belconnen getting another opportunity away on goal. Again, acres of space down both flanks.
Yeah, and I think the disappointing thing for Belconnen there is Flores has played that ball inside for Danning to play it out wide to Maycor, but had Flores just had a bit more awareness and opened his body up, he would have found Adrian Maycor himself without anyone in the way. Really good run from Adrian Maycor to pick up that little bit of space there, but just a couple of times you just want to see Luca Flores just a bit more composure, or even have someone tell him that there's someone behind him or in a good spot.
Thurtell sends it forward. Melik couldn't get that under control. Do get the feeling though there will be more opportunities for the light blue shirts before this one's done, especially if the pattern of the game continues in the same way. Pass to Griffiths. Have to Merriam. All with the right foot. Griffiths. Green. Nomoski. Couldn't get it under control, and Melik's back there helping out, but he's asked a fair bit of Phil Bourgeau here. Does well to get out of that little cul-de-sac that he found himself in. Gillespie. John. Nomoski. John tries to go it alone. And a little tug on the shirt of Max Melik. Michael John spends a lot of time with his back to goal.
Yeah, it was really well defended there too from the youngster. I noticed that we've got our NYL coach Ray Junner sitting in the stands. Maybe one of the ones that he'll be keeping an eye on, I guess, along with people like Flores and Adrian Luca Maycor.
7.5 minutes to go till half time. We still have only the one goal. Not quite sure how. Felipe Bernardo Madrid's goal after 5 minutes, but Belconnen United racked up the chances, and not just the half chances too. Really, really good ones. Josh Laguda with a couple of decent saves. Luca Flores with a miss he won't want to look back on. Looked easier to score from inside the 6-yard box. But they keep coming back for more. Bailey finds Flores. Here he is. Does well to spread the ball wide, and Melik's got some room to advance into the penalty area. Green ahead of him. Little step over. And Habta Merriam was in the right place for Gungahlin. Now the huge gaps in midfield. Gillespie can bring it forward. Bernardo Madrid to his left. Nomoski's peeled out to the touchline. Cuts in onto the right foot. Gillespie lining one up again. Bourgeau blocking again. Midfield seems to be optional at the moment. Abbas. Timotheu. Griffiths. Forced to go home to Laguda, as there wasn't anything ahead of him option-wise. Big call from Bailey, big header too. McLaughlin tries to find some space in that midfield.
Yeah, Paul Maycor really demanding a bit more from his troops around the press there. You can hear him from the sideline with the lack of the crowd, Russ, so you can see the intent of Belconnen is to really push on to the Gungahlin back four.
Here they come again with Melik in midfield. Chance here for Flores. He's worked it onto that left foot. Luca Flores, 1-1. It had been coming. He missed one earlier. Wasn't going to pass up that opportunity. A sixth of the season for the informed striker.
And again, it's Melik who's created so much down that right-hand side, and he's probably a bit fortunate that the ball's landed at his feet there, Flores, because he looked like he was trying to pass that ball into Kofi Danning, who'd made a really nice run. But finally, and I'm really happy for the kid that he's got his name on the score sheet, because it's just what Belconnen deserves so far in this match.
You cannot say it was not coming. They have been knocking on the door since the first minute, and Luca Flores finally finds a way through. As you said, Frank, credit to him. We saw it last week. Missed a gilt-edged opportunity, came back, got a goal. He's done exactly the same again today.
Yeah, he just seems to grow into games. I don't know if he just gets a bit nervous at the start of games. But I'll tell you one kid who's not nervous, and that's Melik. He's been outstanding, Russ.
Had a brilliant season, Max Melik. Now, can Belconnen kick on from this? Dustin Wells looks for Flores. Confidence pumping through the veins now, as you'd expect. In fact, it's been pumping through the veins since round one, hasn't it?
The kid's 8 foot tall now at the moment.
Gillespie looking for the run of Bernardo Madrid. This is his 16th NPL match, Luca Flores, but it's only really this season that he's burst onto the scene in terms of a regular starter. Started all 8 games for the Blue Devils and keeps up this incredible record. 13 goals they've scored this year, and he has 6 of them to his name.
And the fact that you got Michael Tarazi on the bench and that he's keeping his spot in the starting 11 says a lot. I thought Tarazi coming off the bench last week against Tigers was outstanding, but then you've got Flores and Danny, who have both been 2 of the best forwards going around this season. The kid's done really well.
The leading goal scorer in the NPL this year, Luca Flores, with 6. Wells finds Flores on the edge of the box. Can he weave some more magic? Double teamed this time by Griffiths and Habtemarian to stop him in his tracks. Gungahlin brings it away. Namoski. Belconnen will feel they got what they deserved, though, with all the pressure they've been putting on. But you wouldn't run off this Gungahlin side in being able to write that in the next 3.5 minutes before the break. Timotheu. Habtemarian. It's difficult to think of a better strike partnership at the moment than Danning Flores. They complement each other almost perfectly.
Yep, and they've got hard-working midfield behind them, and a rock-solid defence. So it's a pretty good ingredient for a successful side, isn't it?
Bailey lamps it forward. Belconnen haven't beaten Gungahlin in their last 5 encounters, so if they could turn this one around, it would be against the form book. Been outscored 11-6 in those 5 games. Timotheo finds Griffiths. Timotheo. Easy for Thurtell. It's got a really good feel to it, though, isn't it, Frank? It's been chances at both ends. It's been some open football, and there seems to be lots of space on this big Deakin Park Stadium.
And this is going to be really interesting in the next sort of 45 minutes, Russ, just to see how Gungahlin respond to that.
Danning.
You expect them to come back and really throw the kitchen sink at Belconnen, because the last thing you want to do is either lose this game or drop points, because that first game really dictates what happens next.
Great touch, Bernardo Madrid to try and get away from Clements, the flick and spin. Flores. Yeah, just a reminder on the final series here in Canberra. Top 4 play each other once. So 3 matches. Belconnen next week play Tigers FC. Gungahlin United play Canberra, Croatia. All top 4 matches here at Deakin Stadium, all live and exclusive on Bar TV Sports, of course. 90 seconds to the interval.
And credit to the Deakin Stadium, the staff that have got this pitch looking the way it has. Remember when Gungahlin played Canberra, Croatia here only a matter of weeks ago, it was pretty much underwater. To not only recover from that, but look at the way it is now. It's just real credit to the team out here at Canberra, Croatia.
It's had 2 games through it before this one as well. Timotheu. Habtemarian. Jack Green lifts it forward, looking for Michael John. Brings it down nicely here, Michael John in the area, and Bailey was back defending. Only as far as Namoski wanted on that left foot, couldn't get under the ball. Did hear in the week here, though, Frank, the pitch is looking great, but if we do need the floodlights, we've only got 5 of them today, because the one in the right-hand corner of the goal that you can see on your screen there now isn't working. Some pesky Rosellas have been in there pecking away at the
I thought you were going to say they didn't pay the bill because Gilbert is playing again and they had to pay his wage.
No, it's the old Rosellas. Marko Verkic, not Marko Verkic Jr. Marko Verkic Sr. was telling me beforehand that he was up there trying to fix it and there was a Rosella right in his face. Wasn't happy. So we don't need the floodlights later on. It's a sunny day, so perhaps we probably won't. Into stoppage time at the end of the first half. One apiece here. Maybury finds Clements. Luca McCaw's nod down. Was looking for Flores, but Griffiths was in the way. Melik, who's arguably been the standout performer in the first 45 minutes.
Oh, without doubt.
Won't be too much time added on by Adam Powers, you wouldn't think. I was going to say the players can retreat to the changing rooms, but obviously they can't. Like back when you're juniors and you get your half-time team talk on the field. So if you are thinking about going away for half-time, don't forget that it is normally 15 minutes, but we have been starting a little bit earlier, haven't we? But it's been about 8 to 10.
Yeah, and generally the two teams have assembled before the referees. They're pretty keen to get on with the game, I think, most clubs at the moment.
So if you're like Mr. Bailey in Aberdeen and you need to go and get another coffee to keep you awake, or you want something a little bit stronger, you've got about 10 minutes to do so in the half-time interval here before we reconvene for what's likely to be another open 45 minutes. Belconnen ending the first half on the front foot.
Have you organised your people to bring you a coffee or a sandwich, Russ, like you normally do?
I think.
Do they have enough time in that
Bruno Kell's
8 to 10 minute break?
Bruno Kell's on the game tomorrow, so he's bringing yours.
No, I'll get it for him.
Bailey with a left-footed free kick in towards the far post, cluster of players. Won by Abbas. Bernardo Madrid has it. Now Gillespie. He can drive forward. Wells trying to get back to make up the ground. Habtemariam. Numbers back behind the ball for Belconnen. Habtemariam caught late. Advantage played. Bernardo Madrid. None coming. So Gungahlin, deep into stoppage time, have a chance from this set piece.
The free kick's pretty much been given exactly where Habtemariam has received the ball from Bernardo Madrid. The only difference is Belconnen now can get everybody back in the box.
Shooting chance perhaps from this range with the sun behind us as well, Frank, right in the eyes of Jordan Thurtell. Probably the worst position on the pitch for the goalkeeper at that end. Gillespie's behind it, so's Habtemariam. Nomoski's the left-footed option.
Left foot or Gillespie, I think.
Habtemariam suggesting it's his. It's going to be Nomoski's left foot up over the wall, but doesn't have the height to worry Jordan Thurtell. And it's the last action of an action-packed first half. Lots and lots of chances at both ends. The majority of them, though, you'd have to say, coming for the Blue Devils. And they got their equaliser, Frank, which they deserved. But if you're Paul McCall right now, are you disappointed your side's not leading?
Yeah, probably are, Ross. I mean, but at the same time, he'd be chuffed with the way they've gone about it. I think he's definitely had a match plan there in place that's targeted those little pockets of space that are outside the back three of Gungahlin. They've pressed high. They've won the ball in good areas. They've defended reasonably well. There was only a couple of times it looked like miscommunication cost them, but even just the standard of football, I think Russ has been pretty good. So we talk about where are we at. In the NPL scale, that's not a bad advertisement for Capital Football's NPL Division 1 or top grade. So, yeah, good work from both teams.
Tone was set inside the first minute. Luca McCaw denied by Josh Laguda inside the penalty area. After that, Luca Flores had a glorious chance from 6 yards out, which he spooned over the bar. Kofi Danning saw his one-on-one saved by Laguda as well. At the other end, Jordan Thurtell's been called into action a couple of times from distance. Felipe Bernardo Madrid gave Gungahlin the lead. Flores eventually found the net 6 minutes before half-time, which means at the break here at Deakin Stadium in match one of the final series, there's nothing between them. It's Gungahlin United 1, Belconnen United 1. Welcome back to Deacon Stadium for the second half of this finals. Match 1. Belconnen United 1, Gungahlin United 1, and as predicted, Frank, that wasn't 15 minutes, was it?
No way.
So yeah,
Not even close.
Very close, quick half-time break so we get now that the players don't retreat to the change rooms. If you just tuned in, you missed a half of football in which Belconnen United probably created more chances in the first 25 minutes than they've done over the last two matches, to be fair. Only a combination of good goalkeeping from Josh Laguda and some poor finishing really has kept Gungahlin United in it in that respect. But they are in it, and it's 1-1.
They are in it, and there were some signs there where Gillespie was starting to really drive forward towards the back end of that half. I think he had 3 shots on target, or 3 shots on goal. I don't think any of them hit the target, but you can't keep on giving Josh that much space and that much time in those sort of positions. Having said that, Russ, exactly what you said, I think Paul Makel will be delighted with the way his team has executed his game plan. He'll probably be very frustrated that they're not ahead at the halftime break.
No changes to either side. Gungahlin's team, Laguda in goal, Abbas, Griffiths, Green at the back, Timotheo, McLaughlin, Gillespie, Habtemir in midfield, John, Bernardo, Madrid, Namoski up front, Belconnen Thurtell in goal, back four of Mabry, Bourgeot, Clements, Bailey, midfield 4, Adrian McCaw, Wells, Luca McCaw and Melik, up front Danning and the goal scorer Flores. Adam Powers starts the second half. Abbas lays one forward looking for Bernardo Madrid, who looks to win an early corner and does so. And Frank, after this corner, I will ask you the question, are you surprised, and you can think about the response to the corner coming, are you surprised that there wasn't a change of shape for Gungahlin United, considering the amount of space that was afforded out wide to the Belconnen attackers in that first 45 minutes? You can have a think about that just while this corner's being taken. We know their system. They go short again. Gillespie back to Habtemir. To clip it into the area, and it's come off of McCaw and bounces back, Melik, and bounces back to Thurtell.
So the simple answer, Russ, is no. I think we've all seen Marcel's teams set up this way for probably the large part of probably 3 seasons, and it doesn't waver very much at all. Maybe the instructions are a little bit different. Maybe the message to the midfielder to get back and support the defence might be a bit more emphasised, but I can't see him changing his structure or system.
It's a tried and tested one. Timotheo's ball, and it's been missed by Bailey. Bernardo Madrid has it, fires it across goal. Bourgeot couldn't get a touch. Maybe gets rid of it as far as Melik. Good ball that from Bernardo Madrid. Yeah,
brilliant ball. I think Darren Bailey would be a bit disappointed not to cut that pass out from Timotheo, but that was also a bit of a tactic, I think, from Gungahlin in the first half, where Timotheo was trying to get Bernardo Madrid in behind Darren Bailey. He successfully did it to score the first goal. Nearly created something very special in the beginning of the second half.
Gillespie. Clements won it. McLaughlin. I've seen Bailey get beaten a couple of times with that this season. He does throw himself wholeheartedly into those balls, and sometimes if he does misjudge it, it does allow the opposition winger to have a bit of space. Is Bernardo Madrid looking to take on the Scottish fullback in towards Michael John. Bourgeot with the clearance.
And the centre-back pairing of Bourgeot and Clements has done a really good job on Michael John today as well.
There is a change. John O'Lear's on for Belconnen United.
It looks like maybe Adrian Makel might have succumbed to the injury that kept him out last week, Russ.
Yeah, snuck on the far side, John O'Lear. His 6th appearance of the season. All of them off the substitutes bench.
You see the Tigers players making their way behind the Gungahlin goal there on the way to wherever they're getting changed.
One part of the stand will be theirs, probably.
They're playing Canberra Croatia. They're probably in the car park.
The home side, no doubt, will be here shortly as well. Griffith swings that one towards Green. Loose. Melik was in there with the challenge. See, Adrian McCaw missed the game last week, didn't he? He was the one changed to the starting lineup. Off air, you did suggest that you didn't know how fit he might be.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I bumped into his father.
Come back to that in just a second, Frank, as Flores picks his way through and he's found Danning, It's opened up for them here. Is Dustin Wells in the area? Laguda denies Wells. Second half starting much as the first did.
Laguda's almost been the pick of the Gungahlin players at the moment. He's pulled out 3 or 4 saves that really kept him in the game, but just again, a little pocket of space. This time Kofi Danning's been able to find Dustin Wells, and a great save, and it looks like a substitution.
Yeah, there will be a change. Tom Milicevic is coming on. I'm just trying to see who's gone off.
Tom McLaughlin.
Just behind the goal there. So Tom Milicevic. Under instructions for you to get that right today, Frank. Milicevic. Falls for Danning in the area. Still Kofi Danning, and Laguda denies him as well. Still not clear. Melik picks the ball into the penalty area. There's a header from Flores, and he can't get it on target. And Belconnen United are doing just what they did in the first 10 minutes of the first half, and Josh Laguda needing to be strong again.
And could well have had a big shout for a penalty there as well, Belconnen.
Going back to the Adrian McCaw discussion.
Yeah, so, I bumped into his father, Rick, obviously, when I was buying you a coffee, Ross.
Thanks for that.
And he's just struggling a little bit with injury. And couldn't get up for the last game. So, what a institution the Maycall family have been in Canberra football.
Griffiths tried to find John. Maybury got in there, and here's a chance for the substitute Lear. Looking to squeeze it in towards Flores. Settles for the throw. Another couple of good chances though right at the start of the second half for Belconnen United. They're racking them up.
And the worrying thing for Gungahlin is they still don't seem to have come out with any more urgency than they did at the end of the first half.
This has been endemic in their performances, to be fair, across the last month or the last 4 rounds matches. Even since they lost to Tuggeranong United, the 1-0 win over Tigers was very lethargic, and they wasted huge amounts of chances in that. Then they lost to Tuggeranong 2-1 in a game we did at Hawker. They had a 3-0 draw with Olympic, which was overturned on forfeit, but it's still a draw on paper. And then that 0-0 draw last week, and it's pretty fair to say they haven't really hit their straps for a while.
No, and I guess this is where that the whole rotation of the squad comes into play. I'd like to see someone like Barbatano get on. He's obviously got buckets of energy.
But Albo Madrid into the penalty area. Clements deals with it.
He brings a spark to the side every time he seems to play. And interesting that Milicevic is playing in midfield, which is where he's normally playing. But under Marcel Munoz at Gungahlin, he's been largely deployed as in that back three.
Well, for a player that wasn't going to play too much this season, Tom Milicevic, this is his 5th appearance in 7. Joined Gungahlin nominally as a coach, didn't he, of one of the lower grades.
Here's Bailey.
Marauding forward, looking to deliver something into the area, and Laguda plucks it out of the sky.
And that's what you'd like to see Darren Bailey do more of, and really test out the willingness for the Gungahlin side to track his runs.
Hampton Merriam. Jack Green. First of a double header here today. You can listen to me and Frank again later on, or you can put us on mute if you like and still watch the football. Canberra Croatia versus Tigers FC to come. 3:45 kick-off that one. Tomorrow, action turns to the Riverside, the bottom 4 final series. Canberra Olympic versus Woden West, and myself and Frank Asia at 1:30. In Queanbeyan, 3:45. Tuggeranong United, Monero Panthers. Lachlan Roberts joins me in the commentary position for the 4th of 4 matches tomorrow. Love this time of year. Sun's out, finals football. Great stuff from Lear and Danning. Can Belconnen United carve another opening? Swung into the area. Timotheo was in the right place defensively.
Tremendous recovery there from Lear. It seems to be losing the ball on the edge of the...
Gillespie over the top is Michael John. Got away for a second. Bourgeot holds him up. Bernardo Madrid on the top of the box, and the deflection falls kindly to Maybury. Opening up again. It's got the same pattern as the first 45.
It does.
Habsa Merriam. Switch of direction to Milicevic. Looking for Jack Green, who stayed forward. maybe out of position now. Who's dropping in? Timotheo's back to help out. Danning looks to take on Abbas.
Yeah, so just back on Thomas, I mean, even Felipe has one of the junior sides at Gungahlin, which is really good to see that there's some of the senior players are giving up their time and turning their hand to coaching a fair bit. I know Felipe is always, actually both lads have coached at Canberra United, I believe, so good acquisitions for the club on a number of fronts.
Well, still 1-1 here, not quite sure how. Been chances for both sides, numerous chances as well. One of those games that could have had plenty more goals and still might. Dustin Wells over the free kick. Looks for Leah, who's settled into the side at the start of the second 45 very nicely indeed. Wells, change of direction towards Melik. The next generation of Belconnen United players, Max Malik and John O'Lear, given their debut by Steve Forshaw last season. Really burst into prominence as this shortened campaign comes to a conclusion in the final series. Yeah,
and that's part of the legacy that Steve would have left the club. Some of the young guys that have come through, and even some of the senior players that have remained at the club, remained loyal at the club once he left. So, obviously another sort of bit of a legend in the game here in Canberra, Steve Forshaw.
We're seeing a lot of movement in this Gungahlin United squad, of course, Frank. Their big squad that we talked about at the start of the season, and we've talked about in the podcast with Mac Nicoletti and Michael Georgieski and M&M Sports podcast, whereas Belconnen United far more settled in their lineup. Are we seeing that played out in front of us, do you think?
I think so, and this is something that we spoke about last week when we were commentating on the Canberra-Croatia game. Stability is going to go a long way to success.
There's 5 players in this Belconnen United side that have started all 7 games this season. Thurtell, Clements, Wells, Danning and Flores. Darren Bailey has 6 and would have had 7 if he hadn't been sent off in the corresponding fixture, the AIS. And then everybody else on the field has played 6 or more, played 5 or more. So compare that to Gungahlin United, where nobody has played all 7, and you might get an indication. Free kick here, Wells clips it in towards Danning, who got a touch on, and it's a chance on the far post. The flag stays down, and the Blue Devils are in front. And in his 50th NPL game, Phil Bourgeau scores only his 6th goal.
Well, they just seem to stand there and watch as once Danning had flicked on the free kick, Gungahlin would just seem to be nailed to the floor as 2 players from Belconnen got to the far post, and Laguda had no chance of saving him that time. And big goal in the scheme of things here, because not only does it put Belconnen ahead, with the way the format is, this is a big mountain for Gungahlin now to climb.
Well, the most unlikely goal scorers on the field. The forwards have been passing up chance after chance. It's left to the defender racking up his half-century of games and marking it with what might be a vital goal. Now, work to do for last year's grand final winners, because in the shortened competition, Frank, you mentioned it before, any drop of points might be critical.
And this is the other thing that comes into play now, Russ. If they do start getting frustrated and picking up cards or things like that, they don't want to be missing out on games at the back end, like in the last 2 games, through some indiscretion now either. So it's a big tall order now for Gungahlin.
Again, though, I don't think there can be any complaints. Luca McCaw has darted through. His Flores got in behind here. Danning inside him. Flores goes for the chip. Perhaps the wrong option on that occasion, but there can't be any argument from Gungahlin United that Belconnen do not deserve to be in front, do they? And here's the response from Marcel Munoz. It's Sam Habtemariam coming on for Mishko Namoski. His 236th game, Namoski, today. Sam Habtemariam, some fresh legs. 6 NPL goals, none this season though. Ended last season like a house on fire, Sam Habtemariam. Got himself into the team of the year, didn't he?
He did, and I think he's an ex-Belconnen boy too.
Griffiths. Well, Gungahlin United staring down the barrel of a 4th game without a win. And for a side that came into the tournament, or into the season, as the favourites for everything, possibly not the response they were looking for. Lear, Vance McCaw. wants the free kick. It's not given. Is Bernardo Madrid. Well, that's overhit and should be easy. What do you think of the change, Frank?
Oh, look, I think it's a positive one. I guess for me, like I said, anytime Zach Barbatano's come on, he's shown a real spark, and that's nothing against Sammy because I think he's done the same. So I think it's a positive change. I don't think it's obviously not going to change his shape or system. The one thing that stands out to me is just the urgency from Belconnen has actually increased, and Gungalin's frustration seems to have increased.
Free kick to the Blue Devils. Jeremy Habtemarian not happy with it. Luca McCall was the one snapping into the challenge, and he tried to be a bit clever there, I think, and
lucky enough to get a throw.
tried to play it off of Gillespie and did so, but not quite what he was looking for, I don't believe. Looking at the other options, Zach Barbatano is there. Liam Walsh is the other outfield player, of course. More of a defensive option, though. Belconnen United still have Jacob Gardner, Michael Tarazi and Liam Mickle up their sleeves. Here's Danning. Flores loses out to Bernardo Madrid, who looks for Michael John on the run. Bourgeot running across to do his normal day job. Can only find Michael John. Up comes Gillespie from the back. Quick glance to see where he was on the field. Maybe allowed Zach Mabry time to recover. Wells gives it away to Milicevic. Tom Milicevic again. A little bit of space. Jeremy Habtemarian. Drop of the shoulder. Two Blue Devil shirts closing in down his options. Gillespie swings it into the box towards Sam Habtemarian. He's made his way through to the substitutes. Timotheo thought about it and lifts it in towards Jeremy Habtemarian, and perhaps a shot might have been the option.
It wasn't actually a bad little ball there from Timotheo. I think the one thing that stands out as well, Russ, is even when they do get it wide and they try to put a ball into the box, they're not set up to win too many headers with MJ and Sammy. Felipe more than the other two, in my view. But yeah, the crosses are probably going to have to come across the face of the goal, and it might actually be a move for Marcel to consider is actually putting Felipe up in that number 9 position and putting MJ out wide, which he looks like he might have already done.
Perhaps he's tuned in. Zach Barbatano is the final change for Gungahlin United. He's going to come on shortly. They've gone early with the free kick anyway. Griffiths. John, who's gone to that wide position. Bernardo Madrid through the middle. Remains to be seen where Barbatano is going to join in this attack.
I reckon one of the defenders will get taken off. Maybe Abbas, and Milicevic drops into that back three. Jeremy maybe drops a little bit deeper into that position, partnering Timotheo, and Barbatano comes into a 10 role.
Danning finds Flores. Back to Danning again. Fires it across goal. Abbas needs to defend this, otherwise John O'Lear was tapping home the third of the afternoon. Going to see this change now.
That's a big call.
It's Timotheo. Surprised?
I am. Yeah, I mean, he created the first goal. He seems to be creating most of the opportunities, but I guess this is what Marcel gets paid to do, and he knows his team better than anyone else. So I'm far from me to question what decisions he makes around his substitutions.
They do say don't make a change on a corner, though, don't they?
That's one thing I'd never do.
Barbatano's first action is to defend the penalty spot. John O'Lear is the closest Blue Devil shirt to him. Luca Flores with the set piece. Only 3 blue shirts to aim for. One of them was Danning, and one of them was Isaac Clements. And in a crowded penalty area, he was the one that got the header and couldn't put it on target.
Are we going to go back and look at these missed chances at the end of this 90 minutes, Russ? And
we're not going to have time, Frank. There's been so many.
Well, okay, is Paul going to look back over this at the end of during the week?
I'm sure he will. His side could have been out of sight here. And that's not even forgiving the hyperbole, really, is it? I mean, they've had so many really good openings. Danning's offside here. Blake Baldwin with the flag in front of us. And we're not even talking half chances, really. That was a great opportunity there for Clements.
Absolutely. And, you consider the chances that they've had the second half, Wells, Clements, and even the ones, Flores had to in the first half, they could have easily been 4 or 5 right now.
Jeremy Hampton-Mariam looks for Michael John. Bailey with the header. Jeremy Hampton-Mariam wins the forward header. Leah back to Abbas. Slows it down, brings Griffiths into it.
And Sammy Hampton-Mariam seems to have moved into one of those 10 roles, and Zach Barbatano's out on the left for Gungahlin.
Griffiths finds Green. It's coming this way to the left-hand side. Here is Barbatano, his first involvement. Scored the goal against Tuggeranong at Hawker, which brought his side level that night. Abbas. Golevsky. Well-read Clements. Furthest Belconnen player forward at the moment, Isaac Clements.
And that's going to be part of the issue, Belconnen trying to defend this lead. It's 25 minutes to go. They're not just going to sit, I would imagine, on this lead the whole time, because if they keep on playing the ball back to Gungahlin, as that possession mounts, so will the opportunities.
Bailey stands up to Barbatano. Jack Green. Well, generally when they need their skipper to stand up, he comes up with something. Gungahlin needs somebody to answer this Belconnen United question. Otherwise the Blue Devils are going to spring what many would consider a surprise in match 1 of the finals. With a fixture here against Tigers FC, who nominally on paper, having finished 4th of the weakest side in the top 4, next week they will be handily placed. Might become a knockout match for Gungahlin United next weekend. In effect, Frank, against Canberra, Croatia. Should they lose this?
Well, he can't take the goal kick from there.
I guess that's the nature of a small-sided comp like this, Frank. You
Absolutely,
lose the first one and you're up against it, aren't you? Relying on other results.
You see it in World Cups, Russ. I mean, you lose that first group game and you're pushing it for the rest of the rest of that tournament. You're almost relying on other results to go your way from game 1.
They've only got to finish in the top 2, though, to make the grand final.
Yeah.
Green's ball forward, and this one's far from done at Deakin Stadium. Still got half the half to go. Sam Hampton-Mariam. Dancing feet. Golevsky tried to squeeze it through, and Bailey was there and got an important foot in.
And this is what I'm talking about, Ross, with their clearances. They just can't keep on turning the ball back to Gungahlin. They need to play their midfield as much as they can or find a target. Jeremy
Hampton-Mariam to Sam Hampton-Mariam. Thurtell with the feet. Golevsky across goal. Bernardo Madrid hits the post on the rebound. It's still not gone in. It's hit. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. It's hit Bourgeot on the hand, hasn't it?
They've done everything but keep that ball out, Belconnen, and then they've actually kicked it into their own player by the looks of things in the resulting penalty.
I don't know how much Phil Bourgeot really knew about that, but those are the laws, I guess. Not much argument from those in blue, and an ideal opportunity for Gungahlin United. I'm not quite sure they didn't score in that scramble. Bernardo Madrid hit the post. He's the man tasked with the responsibility from the spot. Jeremy Hampton-Mariam's been the main penalty taker this season, but did miss one against Tigers. It's Felipe Bernardo Madrid from the penalty spot at Deakin Stadium. It's 2-2. Perfect penalty from the centre forwards, and football is a cruel game.
Is it what, Russ? And this is what I was saying about when Belconnen is defending, they can't just keep on giving the ball back to Gungahlin, because these chances will happen.
Ice cool from Felipe Bernardo Madrid takes his season tally to 3.
Substitution there.
Luca McCaw is off and Jacob Garner is coming on. Defensive change. That might be a reshuffle unless Garner's going to sit in front of the back 4.
Oh, interesting. He's entrusted a lot of responsibility there to this young man. I know he's highly rated by some of the better credentialed people in Canberra.
All of a sudden, the complexion of the game changes. And Bourgeot wins his team a free kick. Barbatano caught him late. Phil Bourgeot, the hero at one end, and it all turns on him, unfortunately, with that handball. Yeah.
He's obviously very unlucky to have that ball hit him. But they did everything but keep it out. And I was thinking there's no way they're not going to score. But then to come in those sort of circumstances. And
it looks easier for Bernardo Madrid to score than hit the post, didn't it, in the first instance? And then Belconnen couldn't get it clear and from the spot.
And it'd be interesting to see now the body language of the Belconnen players. They'd obviously be deflated.
Barbatano running at Bourgeot. Held up by Bourgeot and Mabry. Still finds Gillespie. Jeremy Habtemariam looking to get the shooting angle if he can. Onto that right foot. Bends it goalwards, but no power to beat Thurtell. All of a sudden, Gungahlin United back in the ascendancy.
Yeah, and this is what we spoke about a little bit around the level of urgency and just confidence.
It's a big goal kick and there's a huge amount of space here. Flores on his own. If he could pull it back, Danning's arriving, but it didn't have the pace. And Milicevic was there, but
that was a massive chance again for Belconnen.
Just opened up for Flores.
From nothing.
Thurtell's cannon of a boot, which we mentioned in commentary over the course of the season. Gillespie, 20 minutes to play, and be a brave man to bet which way this one's going to go.
Be betting there's more goals.
Well, let's hope so. Got 4 so far.
You love a goal, don't you, Russ?
Great for the neutral. We do like bags of goals. It's good to see. Not so fun for the coaching staff of either side, but if you're neutral and you're sat at home and you're neutral in the commentary box like I am, it's great to see plenty of goals and plenty of action. It's spoiled so far, the first of 4 games this weekend. We've had 4 and we could have had 10, and I'm not even making that up.
And you can see, we mentioned this when Gungahlin played Olympic. Back end of games, they're searching for a goal. Gillespie likes to drift, and he looks for the ball out on the left.
Habtemariam looking for Bernardo Madrid, who's on a hat-trick, of course.
He's pulled up a bit short there too, Felipe. Yeah, but Gillespie will start to drift and look for pocket to space himself where he can get the ball, receive it, cut in and fire away. But that was a big chance actually from that down the other end from Thurtell's clearance. All he had to do was find Danning in the middle of the box, and we could have actually been 3-2 again. Looking at another kickoff and another restart.
But he had 2 hat-tricks in the NPL this season so far. Stephen Dominici against Tuggerong and Emilio Kishta down at Tigers for Canberra, Croatia. Can Felipe Bernardo Madrid add himself to that list? Melik, a little bit quieter in the second half, Max Melik.
He has. I think he may be just getting a bit fatigued too.
Back winning that tackle. Jeremy Habtemariam finds Barbatano. Sam Habtemariam finds his brother, Jeremy Habtemariam. John likes a spin in the shot. We've seen it this season. Barbatano. Jeremy Habtemariam. Gillespie to this near side. They're going to dance his way past a couple, and Bourgeot whips that one up towards us in commentary. For the first time this afternoon, Belconnen look rather fragile. And you sense the momentum shifted slightly.
We've said how even the competition's been. I mean, even the team that finished last in Monero, they only finished 4 points off the team that finished 4th. So, it's momentum and confidence in a shortened season is going to take you a long way as well.
Habtemariam switch to Abbas. Tries to take on John O'Lear. Uses his strength to get past him. And brings Griffiths into play. Barbatano, lovely first touch to get away and then was stretching. First touch took him away from Bourgeot. Second couldn't quite get the shot away. Still not clear. Might come back again here. And it's now Belconnen's turn on the break. Danning, but that's miles offside Luca Flores if he goes for that ball.
And probably just going back to something we said just around composure for Flores. He was one-on-one with Green. He's probably got him for pace. If he just stays on his shoulder, he's got a real opportunity there to get him behind.
Jack Green, Gillespie, Barbatano, Bourgeot showing pace to get across. Concedes the throw. Into the final 16 minutes of finals match number 1. Deakin Stadium, Belconnen 2, Gungahlin 2. Good start to the final series.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, Russ, whatever happens in the last 16 minutes, you've got to take your hat off to Belconnen and really, and Paul Maycor and his brother there as the coaching staff, and just acknowledge that they are the real deal this season. Like, they've done so well with the players and resources that they've got.
Might not be done for the 3 points here at the moment, of course. Wouldn't have been against either of these sides finding a winner in the last quarter of an hour. Don't forget, 3:45. Action starts between Canberra, Croatia and Tigers FC. Danning lifts that one forward towards Leah. Abbas judged the bounce better. John back helping out his defence. Laguda. Green can bring this forward. Jack Green finds Josh Gillespie. Habtemariam. Gillespie. Good ball forward towards Sam Habtemariam. Clements in the right place for Belconnen. Gungahlin seem to be picking up all the loose pieces at the moment. Jeremy Habtemariam and Sam Habtemariam swap passes. Free kick in a dangerous position. Shooting chance here, perhaps.
I think so, and don't underestimate the significance of Luka Maycor coming off. I think he's been a prime mover in their midfield all season. Whether he's carrying a knock, which looked like he might have been limping when he came off, it's an important change.
Josh Gillespie's lining this one up. Brought to the club perhaps for these very moments.
It'd want to be good to beat Thurtell from this distance, but we know that both Jeremy and Josh have got that in their locker.
Will it be Jeremy Habtemariam? Will it be Josh Gillespie? It's going to be Habtemariam who bends in. It wasn't far away, and Thurtell, I think, heart in mouth moment for a moment. He'll tell us he have it covered.
Yeah. Jeremy will tell us he didn't.
Certainly had to keep it scrambling. Going to get a change here. Michael Tarazi is going to see some game time.
The Bailey going off.
Looks perhaps like it might be.
So Garner will go into left back. Flores is dropping into midfield, and Tarazi moving up front.
Flores operating from deep now. Be interesting to see if he can get the ball and run at this Gungahlin United defence. Marco Tarazi offers a different prospect to Lachlan Griffiths and Jack Green and Buddy Abbas. Good cameo against the Tigers last week, Marco Tarazi.
Yeah, and he'll bring a bit of composure up front too. If he can just put his foot on the ball and bring other people into the game.
Flores finds Melik, and Tarazi's in the middle here straight away. First touch, Tarazi, denied by Laguda, and left a foot in. What an opening that was for Marco Tarazi within seconds of his introduction.
And a great little ball there from Luca Flores to release Max Melik, and Tarazi's new to the game. First touch probably let him down a bit. I know the Belconnen bench blew up there for the free kick because both players were going for the ball and didn't seem to be much of a foul there. It was just a bit of a collision. But
keepers always seem to get the benefit in those situations, don't they? Wells sends that forward, and it's going to fall for Luca Flores. Slides it towards Melik, not quite as incisive as his pass a moment ago, and here come Gungahlin United with Josh Gillespie galloping into the space here at Deakin Stadium. Barbatano has got free, pulls it back into the area. It's going to come for Sam Habtemariam. Great block, Jacob Gardner. Opened up for Sam Habtemariam, and it was the young substitute Garner that denied him.
Yeah, and that's what Garner's probably more known for, his defensive duties than when he was deployed in midfield. But here we go.
There's a card for someone on the bench. Was that for
Danny
McCall, was it? The assistant coach. Does he get 10 minutes on the bench now for dissent?
Yeah. You have a go at me for being facetious, and then you go and say things like that.
I know you love the sin bin as much as I do. It's all right, Frank. We've only got another 3 weeks of this.
Yellow card to Danny McCall for dissent. Someone better explain what that means. He won't know, of course not.
Not like Danny McCall has ever had a yellow card for dissent in his career. Doesn't mind a chat.
Oh, look, and I'll give him a credit. His banter's usually right up there with some of the best.
Into the final 11 minutes.
But a big chance there for Gungahlin. Sammy Haptamarian probably just took an extra touch. But yeah, Gillespie was the one that broke free in the midfield and really started creating things. But both substitutions for Gungahlin, Sammy Haptamarian and Barbatano have both done a really good job since they've come on.
Chances for both teams. Arguably the best have fallen to those in the light blue shirts, though. Interestingly, in this short tournament, with 10 minutes to go, as it comes closer to the full time, Frank, do you stick? Do you twist? Do you take the point? What's your thinking? It's difficult to actually put a finger on it, whether this point will be a good point or whether it'll be points dropped.
Personally, I'd rather take a point away from the game than not, because what that also means is the other team hasn't taken 3. Having said that, if you've got confidence in your side and you want to push forward and you think you can back your side in to get you 3 points, then you go for it. I think the main thing is just keep playing.
Well, judging by the first 80 minutes, if the last 10 go the same route, we should be in for plenty of opportunities. Flores, who equalised for Belconnen in the first half, sliding into that challenge, picked up by Milicevic.
He stayed down, Flores.
That won't be good news for Paul McCaw. Gillespie slides it up to John. No sympathy for Gungahlin. Looking back for Gillespie. I don't think anyone's seen him down. They have now. And Michael Tarazi. Well, they're still carrying on here. And Kofi Danning. A bit more experience. And in the end, do you think it was cramp or was there a little knock there as he went down?
I don't know. There was a challenge between him and Haptamarian, and obviously he's sort of stayed on the pitch holding his knee after it. So maybe just a twist or a slight knock or something. Obviously, it doesn't look like there was anything malicious in that. It was just a challenge.
They don't want to lose Luca Flores, do they, having made the 3 changes?
And it's interesting to see how he goes in the midfield. I think he's probably played a little bit of junior football in the midfield. But again, I mean, this is a different level again with the likes of Haptamarian and Gillespie and alike in the midfield against him. So, be interested to see how he goes for that last 10 minutes or so.
Belconnen United in action here again next week, 1:30 against Tigers FC. You can watch that one live on Bar TV Sports, of course, as you can all finals football. And Frank Casher will be back with me at 3:45 next week for a real blockbuster. Canberra, Croatia, Gungahlin United coming thick and fast in finals time, of course, as you would expect.
And this is, I guess the great thing about this concept with the Final Four is that you get to see every team play every team in that top 4. Previously where we've had first v second, third v fourth, whoever wins that first game might even just see one team in the finals, the same team that they played in that first round. So
might make for some tactical adjustments as well for the coaching staff when they come out if you're playing the same team in the grand final.
I guess for me, I mean, I was thinking, if I was in Gungahlin's position and they do end up getting a win here, what do you do with McLaughlin and Timotheu? What do you do with Namoski? Do you rotate again? Do you make 3 changes to a side that wins based on changing the side when they did? So I don't know. It's a tough one. Theoretically,
you could also be playing. For example, Gungahlin play Tigers in the last of 3 rounds, and should the results go the right way, those two could be meeting a week later again in the grand final.
Correct.
And the same goes for Canberra, Croatia, Belconnen, of course.
And that's always difficult, I think, playing the same team twice in a matter of weeks.
And it's not as if you can rest players, can you? Because it's such a short time in between matches. Barbatano looking to sneak in between Bourgeois and Wells.
To be honest, Russ, I don't think players, in a 7-game season or a 10-game season, no player wants to be rested either.
I don't think any player wants to be rested in a 20-game season, do they?
I don't know. I've coached some players that want to be rested after training.
Melik's found some room here for the Blue Devils. Swings it across the penalty area and picked out the only black and white shirt that was there. He had John O'Leary, Kofi Danning and Michael Tarazi in the box. Meanwhile, here's Gillespie at the other end. Sam Haptamarian in a bit of space. Michael John's got a lot more of it outside of him. We're going to run at Jacob Garner here, Michael John. Tricky when he gets in the penalty area. Danning's made a 90-metre run back to help out defensively.
How good's that from Kofi?
Leading by example. Kofi Danning. Luca Flores rejoins the action. Gets to jogging up front while Kofi Danning plays the deeper role. Maybe that's why he stayed down.
Interesting that Gungahlin didn't kick it out. I guess, Russ, where do you sit on that sort of...
I'm not sure they saw him go down, to be honest. It was behind him, but, you know, at the end of the day, let's play till the referee blows the whistle. Michael John stepping in field. Finds Gillespie. Bernardo Madrid looking for a bit of space. Bernardo Madrid straight down the throat of Thurtell. Glorious opening.
I thought that was 3-2 right there, Russ.
Player of his calibre. Great chance for Gungahlin. Wells. Feels like a knockout game, doesn't it?
It does. It's
Melik, heaps of space here for Max Melik. Can he pick out the right parts this time? Lifted into the area towards Flores. Abbas tracked the run. John O'Lear has it. Just eased off the ball by Michael John, but they're going to get it back here. Wells with a dipper. Just off target. But as I said, it feels like it's an elimination final or something.
It has got that feel to it, doesn't it?
Barbatano finds Habtemariam, both sides to their credit, looking for the winner in the last 5 minutes. Jeremy Habtemariam, Sam Habtemariam into the area, looking to get the shot away. Another appeal for handball. Big shot against John O'Lear this time.
Interesting it wasn't Sammy Habtemariam that asked for the handball. He was the closest Gungahlin player to it. He threw his hands up, I think, post all the other appeals.
Not doing, said Adam Powers on this occasion. Wells has been caught late. Advantage played is Tarazi. Looks to take on Griffiths, who just stands strong in the tackle.
Yeah, not sure there was much of an advantage there, though.
Is there a winner in the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time? Can one of these sides get their finals campaign off to the perfect start? Be almost cruel for there to be a winner. It's been that exciting to watch. Flores stretching the legs. Griffiths just casually strolls across.
It's interesting that the players look visibly tired, Russ. I don't know if it's just I mean, obviously the game's been end-to-end, but at the same time I'm just wondering whether the conditions where it's, you know, middle of the day rather than sort of late afternoon are taking its toll on players.
Maybe an earlier kickoff as well.
Yeah.
Different in your build-up. Sam Habtemariam, free kick goes against him just as he was on the attack. Yeah, different build-up. You start to eat your pre-match a bit earlier, don't you? And maybe you've not rested as much.
Yeah, and obviously there's, you know, you're a lot, you know, it's a final, so you're a bit more nervous, you're a bit more on edge. But yeah, you can see just a number of players starting to get very tired, visibly tired. Michael
John picks up a yellow card for just delaying the game. Bit of a silly one there for him.
Yeah, I think Dusty did what Luka Makor couldn't manage with a quick free kick with a player in front. He's got a few years on him though, Dusty.
Belconnen United with 3 minutes to go, looking for a match winner. Will someone stand up for them, or will someone stand up for Gungahlin United? Green with the header. Finds Danning. Barbatano got away. Danning just an arm across the chest to concede the free kick. Chance for Gunners to send plenty forwards. Neither side, both sides have answered my question, I guess, I think earlier. Are they going to sit back and be content for a point? The answer seems to be no.
No, correct.
Which is great for us to watch.
Here's another chance.
Tarazi finds Danning. There's loads of blue shirts in this attack. Danning has Flores outside him, goes for goal himself. A tired looking effort from Kofi Danning. I'm not sure that John O'Lear and Dustin Wells were best impressed. They were making a run outside on the left. Wells has a little nibble at Michael John and concedes a free kick. 2 minutes to play. Sam Habtemariam. Gillespie. One-on-one with Melik. Barbatano steps away from Maybury. Melik's back there with the challenge. Bourgeau hammers it clear. It's going to stay in, I think, briefly. "90 seconds, Frank. Can we see a winner?"
You wouldn't rule it out, would you, Russ?
Well, judging by the games I've seen here this season, it's usually team in red picking up stoppage time goals, but they might well do that later on today. Belconnen United have been bitten here in stoppage time a couple of weeks ago. They were 2-1 up, conceded twice in the 93rd and 95th minutes to go down 3-2 to Canberra, Croatia. Maybe that's a little niggle at the back of their minds that they can remember that all too vividly.
Yeah, and you can see, I think Kofi Danning's dropped into the midfield now as well. Well, I don't think they've given up on getting the 3 points here, but at the same time, he's definitely trying to shore up as much as he possibly can.
Wells looks for Melik. Kofi Danning. Milicevic. Can Gungahlin spring something forward? Not with a pass like that from Gillespie.
No, I think the ball's out to Sammy Haptamariam.
Wells, now look at the space here for John O'Lear. 3 against 2 in the penalty area. Only Jeremy Haptamariam furthest back. Tarazi, a lot of space for him to get the shot away, and Laguda grateful that it was straight at him.
Interesting to see young Garner getting forward there to try to support. Could have almost exploited that.
Bernardo Madrid tried the 1-2 with Barbatano. Awkward from Thurtell, got the job done. Milicevic into stoppage time. Jeremy Haptamariam. Green, Jeremy Haptamariam. Sam Haptamariam.
And Sammy Haptamariam's really stuck his hand up for a starting spot next week, hasn't he?
He's done well since he's come on. Gunners found a winner in stoppage time against Tigers in round 4 earlier this season. Milicevic. Haptamariam's ball in. Barbatano stolen in behind here, and that's a good foot from Mabry for a corner. But chance for Gungahlin United. Tigers FC versus Canberra, Croatia coming up for you at 3:45 kickoff. Both those coaches might be happy with a point here. A 2-2 draw here sets that up nicely for whoever can win that one. Gunners throwing plenty of bodies in the penalty area. Swung in towards the far post. Bourgeot with a header before Griffiths could get contact, and Danning might be able to keep this in for the Blue Devils. Wells inside him. Runner on this near side is Jacob Garner. If he gets a toe on this, Melik's in. Here's Max Melik. Real chance for Belconnen to steal it into the penalty area, and he's shown too much of it to Jeremy Haptamariam. He looked a little tired there, Max Melik, but he has won his side of corner.
Yeah, we said it probably 15 minutes ago that he's visibly fatigued, but young Garner gets a little foot in there to set him away, and geez, they had an opportunity there.
And we move everybody up to this end for Belconnen United to have perhaps the last chance. And they've thrown plenty of numbers forward as well. Left 3 back to deal, well 4 back now to deal with Bernardo Madrid. Dustin Wells.
Yeah, I don't know, Russ, it's just a bit more notable that Belconnen probably taking their time a little bit more to get to this corner than Gungahlin took to get to theirs.
Needs one decent delivery from Dustin Wells. Swings it in towards Bourgeot, who wins the header back into the danger area. Hooked away by Gillespie. It's going to fall for Mabry. Needs to be careful here. That Mabry steps away from Barbatano and Bernardo Madrid, and off he goes, off on a run, and then asks a fair bit of Dustin Wells, though, who can deliver into the box, and Tarazi was closing in. Milicevic away. Melik for Belconnen. Tried to find Danning. The touch was important from Green. Here's Josh Gillespie. Sam Haptamariam. Lots of space in midfield. Green stayed forwards. Sam Haptamariam drifts past one, but tracking back was John O'Lear. Bourgeot with a deflection gets it away. Adam Powers gives a free kick to Belconnen. In fact, he's got his arms the wrong way around. It's a free kick to Gungahlin. It looked a bit odd. One more chance. We move everybody up the other end again.
Zach Mabry with ice in his veins, dribbling players on the near the halfway line.
Yeah, he just saw Paul McCall visibly age by about 5 years when he did that. Gillespie with the free kick. Can he pick someone out in the penalty area? Green was the target, as usual. Can't get a touch on it, and Frank Asia, that brings an end to 90 very entertaining minutes here at Deakin Stadium, and 2 apiece. Credit
to both teams. They've both gone hell for leather trying to get that win. 2-2 probably in the end, I guess, Russ, you probably say it's, on the balance of things, probably a little bit fair. It's a fair result. Belconnen will rule a number of missed chances, but even at the end there, when Bernardo Madrid came one-on-one with Thurtell, probably not the finish that he was looking for either. So, look, I think credit to the players, credit to the coaches, and to the Deacon staff for putting out a pitch that's been immaculate.
It's a question that we'll probably answer in a couple of weeks, to be honest, Frank. But who's better? Who's happier with a point?
Oh, look, I think. I guess if I was Paul Maycor, I'd be quietly confident that that point's going to take me a long way into this final series, because the way that Gungahlin play, they've had decent results against both Canberra Croatia and Cooma or Tigers, but it sets it up for both teams. It's a good point, if you like, for both teams, and it gives both teams a lot to play for in the next couple of games.
Loads of chances in the game. Belconnen United perhaps could have had 2 or 3 before they scored their equalising goal from Luca Flores after Felipe Bernardo Madrid had given Gunners the lead. Phil Bourgeot on his 50th NPL appearance then put Belconnen in front for a penalty from Felipe Bernardo Madrid ensured that parity was restored for Gungahlin United. Really entertaining 90 minutes here. A point apiece between Gungahlin and Belconnen. Make sure you tune in at 3:45 for me and Frank for Canberra Croatia versus Tigers FC finals match number 2. Whoever wins that will have a big advantage over these two, because it's finished Gungahlin 2, Belconnen 2.